So we're diving into the story behind RhythmSpeak.
Right.
You already know the idea about using movement to make like a whole new language.
Right.
You've seen all the moves, you get the whole concept.
Yeah.
But have you ever thought about how this idea that started back in 2016 didn't actually become RhythmSpeak until 2020?
That's interesting. Yeah.
It's that journey from the first thought of it to actually creating it that we're looking at today.
It's a fascinating story.
Yeah.
There's this gap of almost 4 years.
Oh, wow.
Where the creators were finding the idea, letting it simmer, almost waiting for the perfect time to bring it to life.
It's like a seed. Just kind of dormant in the soil, waiting for the right moment.
Exactly.
Just sprout.
Yeah, and then in 2020, those conditions finally aligned.
Interesting.
It was almost destiny,
Okay, so let's unpack this a little.
Sure.
So we know that the initial inspiration came from seeing how everything in nature's in motion.
Right.
And realizing that motion could be more than just physical.
Oh.
It could have meaning beyond that.
Yeah.
But what was it about 2020 specifically?
According to the inception of RhythmSpeak, it was this perfect storm of 3 key things.
Okay.
First, there was the whole thing with making RhythmSpeak clothes.
Oh, interesting.
Which led to buying a t-shirt press.
Wow.
To make the apparel that they'd wear in the videos.
Right.
So it's establishing a visual identity right from the start.
So even though RhythmSpeak is about movement, the visuals were really important from the beginning.
Oh, yeah. Interesting.
And then there's the development of the induction frame.
What's that?
It's a structured way to show the moves in the videos.
Oh.
Really emphasizing clarity and consistency.
Setting up the rules.
Yeah.
For grammar.
Exactly.
So that the meaning is conveyed accurately.
I'm starting to see how these pieces fit together.
Yeah.
But I feel like there's a third piece missing here.
Yeah, this is where it gets really interesting.
Okay.
The third element was totally unexpected.
What was it?
A huge flood in St. Louis.
Life.
That forced the creator to relocate to an extended stay apartment.
A flood.
That's crazy.
I know, right? It doesn't seem like a natural disaster would be the catalyst for something so creative and complex as a whole language.
Sometimes limitations can make you more creative.
That's true.
And being displaced and having to work with limited resources really fueled their determination.
Oh.
That extended stay room became their studio.
Wow.
The place where RhythmSpeak finally came together.
Kind of poetic.
That is.
This big, ambitious idea coming to life in this ordinary, unexpected place.
Yeah, it speaks to that creative spirit.
It really does.
And all of this led to making and uploading that very first welcome video.
Yeah.
To RhythmSpeak TV, which was filmed in that extended stay room.
Oh, wow.
It marks the official birth of RhythmSpeak as we know it.
Wow.
It's years of thought and refining finally bursting out.
It's like a butterfly coming out of its cocoon.
Yeah.
All that time of development. And then suddenly it's ready to fly.
Exactly. And take flight. It did.
Wow, that's amazing.
But hold on a second.
Okay.
Let's think about what this tells us about creativity.
Okay.
The fact that there was this 4-year gap between the idea and actually launching RhythmSpeak.
Yeah.
Doesn't that mean sometimes the best ideas need time to just incubate?
They were gathering information subconsciously, letting the idea grow before it was ready to be born.
It's a reminder that creativity isn't always straightforward.
No.
Sometimes it's about trusting the journey, allowing for detours,
The unexpected.
Yeah. And recognizing that even setbacks, like a flood, can become catalysts for something amazing.
So we've got these 3 things, right?
Yeah.
The apparel, the induction frame, and the flood.
Right.
All coming together in 2020 to create the perfect conditions for RhythmSpeak to happen.
It was the perfect storm.
Yeah, but it's not just the external circumstances.
No.
It's that internal drive, too.
Yeah.
The passion that kept the creator going for all those years.
It was the combination of both the internal and the external.
That led to this incredible creation.
Yeah.
It's like the universe was conspiring.
Maybe it was.
To make RhythmSpeak happen.
It's a cool thought.
It is.
But there's another layer to this story that I find really interesting.
Oh, okay. This is where it gets really interesting.
The fact that they chose to make clothes, specifically t-shirts, before releasing anything else, tells us that they understood the power of having a strong visual identity.
from the beginning.
Right.
A way they were already thinking about how to present RhythmSpeak to the world.
Wow.
How to make it visually appealing.
That's really interesting.
It shows a level of intentionality and strategic thinking that goes beyond just developing the language.
Like they weren't just focused on the moves.
Exactly.
They were thinking about how it would be perceived by the world.
It's like that saying, don't judge a book by its cover.
But we all do.
We totally do.
At least at first.
And the creator seems to have known that.
Yeah. So the clothes were more than just clothes.
Yeah.
It was a statement.
Yeah.
A way to introduce RhythmSpeak to the world.
Mm-hmm.
Visually.
Exactly.
That's pretty clever.
I think so.
I wonder if the decision to create apparel was also a way for the creator to embody RhythmSpeak themselves.
You mean like
to wear the language? I see what you mean.
We know they wanted to stay anonymous.
Right.
At least in the beginning. But maybe making the apparel was a way to express their connection to RhythmSpeak without showing their face.
That's a cool thought.
It is.
Like a hidden form of self-expression.
Right. Built right into the language.
I like that.
Okay. So we've talked about the clothes, the t-shirt press, the flood, the apartment turned studio.
Right.
And releasing that first video.
It's a lot to happen.
It is.
In a short amount of time.
It really highlights how sometimes unexpected things can lead to breakthroughs.
Yes.
It's like a reminder to just stay open.
Possibilities.
Yeah, even when things are tough.
Exactly.
It makes me think about all the times I've put off creative projects because things weren't perfect. Maybe that's the wrong way to think about it. Maybe it's better to embrace the imperfections.
Yeah.
The unexpected turns.
I think you're right.
And see where they lead you.
I agree.
The RhythmSpeak story really shows us that.
It does.
It's inspiring.
It is.
Makes me want to find my own metaphorical t-shirt press and just dive in to my own projects.
I love it.
You know, we're still just scratching the surface here.
Yeah.
There's so much more to RhythmSpeak.
There is.
We haven't even talked about the language itself yet, or the creator's vision.
So much to explore.
But we'll have to save that for another time.
Definitely.
I can't wait.
Me too.
But I want to leave our listeners with this thought.
Okay.
What seemingly random events or challenges in your own life could be the catalyst for something amazing?
That's a great question.
Maybe it's time to embrace the unexpected.
Yeah.
And see where it leads.
I love that.
We'll be back next time to dig deeper into RhythmSpeak.
Looking forward to it. Yeah, it's like constraints breed creativity.
Exactly.
Who knew a flood could be like the origin story of a language?
I know, it's crazy.
It is wild.
It's amazing how sometimes, you know, when things are difficult,
it
pushes us in directions we didn't expect.
Totally.